The market is flooded with easy promises, with polished results, with lies wrapped in epic music and flashy edits. Then came TJR. No persona.
What are they trying to do?
No filter. No pre-written script. TJR never tried to look like a trader. He just was one. While most focus on selling the dream, TJR stood out by exposing the process. Wins, losses, doubts, hesitation, all laid bare. He's not the only one doing this, but he's one of the few who turned that rawness into consistent, meaningful content. The difference is in the tone. No forced motivation, no untouchable guru persona, just a trader narrating his daily reality on the charts. TJR's content looks simple on the surface, but that simplicity is intentional. He teaches what most ignore, what comes before strategy.
And I'm always saying, don't trade on high-impact news days.
While the internet is flooded with setups, indicators, and magic entry combos, TJR insists that's not what matters most. He says it all the time. You can have the best strategy in the world, but if your mind is a mess, you'll lose anyway.
It's not a 500-page PDF, it's not an indicator, and it's not a course. It's their mental, it's their mindset, and it's their psychology.
He's not here to teach how to beat the market. He's here to teach how to control yourself. He repeats this often. Your job isn't to predict the market. It's to be ready when it moves. TJR shows how to build real conviction through repetition, through exposure to real market pressure, through honest review of your own mistakes, by identifying what breaks your plan before chasing a new one. He teaches you to observe flow, context, price action, not to predict, but to react consistently. According to him, that's what separates amateurs from survivors. And maybe the most important lesson, not trading is also a decision.
So I'm just like, look, if there's a big drastic move or a big news event that's happening before market opens, odds are the move's already made for that day, and you might as well just take yourself out of the market.
Most people get addicted to action. He reminds us that boredom, patience, and waiting are where clarity is born. Anyone expecting a secret to success will be disappointed. He's clear. The secret is to stop searching for a secret. It's doing the basics daily until it stops hurting. His content exists to recalibrate the beginner's mind, which has been distorted by miracle promises and the illusion of control. TJR breaks those illusions. He doesn't sell hope. He delivers reality.
We always say like the market's going to give you opportunity every single day, but for each trader it's a little bit different. So there's just a time and a place for you to be able to execute with your strategy and be able to take advantage of the market.
That's the core of his message. You don't beat the market. You beat yourself.
I mean, I tell this story all the time. I had negative $2,000 in my bank account because like, I guess there was some like subscription or some shit that tried to get hit and then, yeah.
In the beginning, he wasn't a trading prodigy. He was just another young guy who believed he could live off trading, and he crashed. It wasn't a small loss. It was a $22,000 debt. No plan B, no support. No one saying, you can do it. And do you know the most striking part?
I asked my parents like, yo, cover me. And they were like, we can't. My dad was just like, what are you going to do about it? And that was a heavy hitter for me. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to be making $100,000 a month from this. And my dad like started laughing.
Not even his dad believed in him. He laughed, not out of malice, but because the dream sounded way too ridiculous. But that was just the first fall, because the biggest collapse wasn't financial. It was emotional. Even after becoming a millionaire, even after fame, even after showing his trades live and seeing the numbers go up, the darkness was still there.
And for me, I was a millionaire and attempted suicide multiple times.
He's tried to take his own life more than once, and it wasn't at the start of the journey. It was after the fame, after the success. This is where the story shifts, because unlike the gurus who pretend everything is perfect, he had the courage to expose the truth. Getting rich doesn't heal the emptiness. Making money doesn't fix internal wars. And it was only when he stopped everything, when he hit rock bottom, that he finally woke up.
Hitting rock bottom was by far the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because when that happened, I looked around, there was nobody to fucking pick me up. I pretty much like took a deep breath and I was like, shit, like
gotta figure this out.
Yeah, I gotta figure it out.
Hitting rock bottom was, in his own words, the best thing that happened, because that's when he reconnected with the truth. That's when he saw what really matters. That's when he understood that no profitable trade is worth your peace. And that's why today, he doesn't fake it. He trades. He shows it. But above all, he remembers every day the pain that brought him here. That's when something unexpected came up: the content.
Money isn't the key to all this happiness shit, and like I need to find happiness in something else. And honestly, like content low-key saved me.
Recording videos, talking alone to the camera, showing who he really was, unfiltered. That started to heal what money couldn't.
When I'm making TikToks, when I'm making YouTube videos, like that's my social time. I feel like I'm just talking to my friends, and that's like what kind of cured my depression.
And everything changed when people began to comment.
Yo, this guy's cool, or like, yo, this guy's funny. And I'm like, hey, I'm cool, like I'm funny, like people like who I am.
What he couldn't see in himself, his own value, began to be reflected back by people who admired him, expecting nothing in return. From a guy who hated himself to someone who started to recognize himself in the laughter and messages from those he helped.
Making content and teaching people, that was another thing that brought me a bunch of happiness, was like being able to teach people how to change their lives.
Teaching became more than just a way to make a living. It turned into a mission. And with every message, every testimony saying, "You changed my life," the healing moved one step further.
At the end of the day, I could give a shit about the money. Like if I can make people happy, if I can make people whatever, like fucking giggle or make them some bread and that makes them happy, awesome. That's my goal, just to make other people happy.
For TJR, trading success isn't about being right. It's about being present, aware, and consistent. While many chase the next magic indicator, he believes the real breakthrough happens when you stop chasing shortcuts and start observing yourself. He doesn't speak in fancy technical terms. He talks about decisions, repetition, self-control, and he repeats one key idea: less hype, more tape, less illusion, more market reality, less noise, more reading the flow, less ego, more humility in front of the chart. TJR treats trading like a mirror. He says, beginners fail because they try to conquer the market before conquering themselves. He was that beginner. He bought into lies, rushed things, tried to prove something, and only found consistency when he let go of the need to be right and committed to the process instead. His philosophy is simple. You don't need to always be right. You just need to know what you're doing, even when you're wrong. That changes everything. It takes the pressure off perfection and puts the responsibility on the process. If you follow your plan, even if the trade loses, you've won because you honored your own commitment.
I don't even think I would want to try and convince people to trade the way that I trade. I think that if they were just to get into trading and start and find a strategy that works for them.
That's TJR's foundation: emotional discipline, technical repetition, acceptance of boredom. He doesn't pose as a genius or a visionary, just someone who stopped fighting the market and started working with it. That's what made him stand out, not by yelling louder, but by saying what no one wants to hear. The hard part isn't the chart, it's you.